What's up, guys? My name is Aaron. Today I'm going to be reviewing Dunkirk. Dunkirk is the latest movie by Christopher Nolan. Basically, like a retelling of the events that actually happened in Dunkirk during World War II, and it stars Tom Hardy, Cillian Murphy, Mark Rylance, Kenneth Branagh, and a lot of different actors and stuff in this movie. I'm not like a huge Christopher Nolan fan. I do think that he's a really good director and definitely one of the best, but I don't know if I personally connect to his movies like I do a lot of directors like of his generation, like Paul Thomas Anderson, David Fincher, Sofia Coppola. I don't know if I really connect with his movies as much as those people, but I do think that he's a really talented director, and I think that movies like The Dark Knight and The Prestige are definitely classics to me. He's made like a lot of important movies in the past, so I do think he's a really respected director. So anything that he has his hands on, I'm gonna give it a watch because he's that talented to me. What I didn't expect was this to be like one of my favorite Nolan movies. I really wasn't that hyped for this, but I was pleasantly surprised. I think this is really good. What I do like about this is like the actual atmosphere of the movie. It really puts you in these soldiers' shoes and stuff like that. It feels really authentic to the time, like the costumes, the weapons that they use, the vehicles that they use, even including like the planes and stuff like that. It all feels like you're in that time period. Like it feels like a period piece in that way that it honestly looks like it was actually made in the 40s or 50s. Like it doesn't feel like a modern movie, and that's kind of in a good way. The sound design is really immersive. It really puts you in the soldiers' shoes and stuff like that, and it really makes you feel what they're feeling. Like I was like really tense the entire time I was watching the movie, and that's a really good job with the sound design, I guess, for the movie. It just really puts you in their shoes. I really like those tense scenes that really focus on like the soldiers trying to navigate how to get out of the situation that they're in. The beginning where it's just like super wordless, like there's no talking, but it's like in this like town, like get away from like people sniping at them and stuff like that. It feels really like heightened, and it really puts you in that soldier's shoes without really like telling you what is happening and stuff like that. You just really figure out as he's going along and stuff, and it really puts you in his shoes. That was the thing I liked about this movie a lot. Like it didn't really like explain who these people were and what they were doing before they had the war and stuff like that. Like with a lot of war movies, they really try to do that like character description and stuff like that. I really feel like they're truly trying to make you relate to them. Like you always say, oh, I had a wife or whatever like that before I came out here, and it's just like we know this stuff. We don't need to rehash this type of things. And I feel like in an actual war situation like that, you really wouldn't be talking about that type of stuff. Like you would just be trying to get the hell out of there. And that's really what this movie tried to convey. It's like it really makes you feel like this is how you would actually act in war, like running away, trying to save people and stuff like that. Not really thinking about yourself in this situation. Like you just really are just trying to get out of this situation and stuff like that. And this movie really conveys that with the different ways that they try to approach that with the land, like the soldier that was trying to get away, by the sea, like the citizens that are trying to save people, and by air where the soldier is trying to shoot down targets and stuff like that to try to help the people on his side and stuff like that. You really do get a sense of what these people were trying to do without the movie sitting down and explaining that to us, and I do appreciate Nolan for doing that aspect of the movie. I do think the theme of the movie is basically like survival and what you will do in these situations and stuff like that. The movie does that without really telling you that's what the theme of the movie is. That's at least what I got from the movie. And it really kind of shows you that with the two soldiers on the land. Tommy, who's played by Fionn Whitehead, who's kind of like the good nature side of survival, where he's trying to do the right thing and trying to help people in a situation as much as he can. And then it's kind of on the flip side with Alex, who's played by Harry Styles, who is really just trying to look out for himself and just try to get out of the situation as best as he can. I thought that the two actors really did a good job trying to convey their different modes of that, and it really felt really authentic, and I was really surprised by their acting, and I was really surprised by Harry Styles, who I was like, why is Christopher Nolan getting Harry Styles to be in a serious movie? But he does a really good job, even though it's a little bit distracting at the first, because you're just like, that's Harry Styles in a war movie, this is weird. But he does a really good job with his character. I think the veteran actors like Tom Hardy, Kenneth Branagh, Cillian Murphy, and Mark Rylance, they do a lot of stuff with their roles, even though they're not in the movie a lot. Those actors really did a lot with the minimal like dialogue they had. I really think that Harry Styles actually had the most dialogue in this movie, which is really weird to say in a Christopher Nolan movie, but the actors all did a really good job with the roles that they were given. There wasn't like a lot of dialogue to any of them. I wouldn't say this is like a perfect movie. These aren't like major problems with the movie, but these were some things that I had. Like, I thought that the C part of the movie, which is kind of focused on Mark Rylance's character, wasn't as gripping as the other parts. It didn't feel as urgent as like the land stuff or the air stuff. It didn't really put you in there as much as those parts of the movies did. And I think that it kind of slowed down the pacing of the movie at times. It wasn't bad, but I guess that was the problem with the movie. And I do get the importance of it, but it just kind of slowed down my enjoyment, I guess. It's kind of slowed down the pace. I also think that the way that he approached the story, like kind of focusing on these three separate narratives, the land, the sea, and the air, was interesting, and it really kind of threw you off guard like you would be in these situations. But I just felt like at the times it felt kind of gimmicky to me, and it felt like, I don't know, like it kind of was just a little bit too sentimental, especially with like the sea part of the movie. But overall, I think this is a really great movie. I don't know what the replay value for this is going to be. Like, I don't know if I would probably watch this again outside of, like, it may be in theaters, but I don't think I'd probably watch this, like, at home or whatever like that. I do think this is a really great movie with stunning, like, technical aspects. Like, this movie looks gorgeous, especially during the air parts of the movie. And I do think that the acting is really good and the theme is really clear-cut without it being too preachy or anything like that. But I do think that the pacing is kind of off in some parts, and I do think that the narrative is kind of gimmicky at points. Overall, I would give this an 8 out of 10. I definitely think this is probably one of Nolan's best movies, but I'll probably have to go over my ranking. But I think this is probably my top 3 Nolan movies. So yeah, those are my thoughts on Dunkirk. What are you guys' thoughts? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Let me know in the comments what you thought, and thanks for watching. Thanks, guys. Bye.